Welcome to this edition of Labor Vision. I'm Bob Delaney, Executive Director of the Institute for Labor Studies and Research. Labor Vision, a production of the Institute, focuses on topics of importance to working Rhode Islanders. We hope you enjoy this edition.
A production of the Institute for Labor Studies and Research. I am your host, Erica Hammond, and tonight we're back with our annual segment on the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program run by the United Way of Rhode Island. To help me do so, we have three guests joining me. First, we have Meg Chevailer, Senior Tax Consultant at the IRS, and then we have Kannyka Pouk, Director of Programs at the Center for Southeast Asians. And finally, Larry Warner, Director of Grants and Strategic Initiatives at United Way of Rhode Island. Thank you so much for joining us, all of you.
Thank you.
All right, I want to start by thanking you for the time that you guys are taking out of your days to be here, because I know that things are getting really busy right now, especially with this program. And this program is incredible, so I just want to highlight it really quick. It's a free program that's helped nearly 13,000 individuals, right, in Rhode Island alone. And I'm really happy that Labor Vision gets to platform it and gets to spread the outreach about this program so more folks know about it, right? So let's start with an overview of the VITA program. How long has it been around? Who's eligible? Larry, do you want to start, or Meg?
Sure, I can start. United Way has been supporting VITA in Rhode Island since 2005. It's an important program which helps to bring funding back to households, to families, to help them invest in household expenses, make repairs for cars, and in partnership with the IRS and with funding from Citizens Bank and other donors, we're able to support over 24 sites around the state and help to make sure that individuals have access to free tax preparation.
Okay. Do you want to add anything?
Yes, VITA having around for many years, since 1978.
Wow.
And last year we were celebrating the 50 years of the program. And we are very grateful to partner with United Way in Rhode Island. Before United Way came on board in 2005, we only had about 6 VITA sites. Now we have about 25 VITA sites supported by United Way, and this is having a great service to the community.
And can you talk a little bit more about United Way's role in this program?
Sure. So United Way each year or each grant cycle offers a request for proposals to invite nonprofit organizations and community action agencies to submit a proposal about how they're going to provide VITA services to their respective communities. And it is a competitive process, and we look for the ability to be accessible when individuals and families are accessible, to report on the reach of the program, to make sure that it's done in a way that is responsive to individual and family needs, and that if there are linguistic needs, that they're able to meet the linguistic needs of the community that they serve. And we make decisions on those applications, and this year through the process we're able to support proposals, either individual sites or coalitions, such as in Providence. There's a coalition of nonprofit organizations working together to provide VITA services in Providence, and the CAP agencies, the community action programs and community action agencies around the state also are a coalition of agencies providing VITA sites. And across those individual and coalition sites, there, as Meg said, 25 sites will be open for VITA this tax season.
And can you talk a little bit about what that process looks like when organizations or, say, coalitions are interested in taking part in applying to be able to do this?
Sure. In their proposal, they have to identify what their staffing model is going to look like, what their hours are going to be. They have to, volunteers are all trained by the IRS, so they have to ensure that that is going to be fulfilled, as well as any other IRS requirements. They have to have staffing which allows them to greet and guide filers in the waiting, whatever whatever forum is best suited for their space. Some have waiting areas, some have scheduled times when people come to the sites and have their taxes prepared. Others only do e-file. So there's a number of different configurations, and that's all specified in the proposal. And then we take all those things into consideration, as well as past performance, and look at how we can best support the community through these sites.
And can information about those applications for the proposals be found on the United Way website, or when the time comes, when the next cycle comes up? Or?
Yes, when we announce the request for proposals, we disseminate it through our network, through our newsletter, on our website, and invite nonprofit organizations to submit applications.
And can all of you kind of talk about the impact that this program has on Rhode Islanders? I know that the outreach is large, and I know that, Kannyka, you can speak on specifically one of the sites as you're being a part of the Providence Coalition that Larry had talked about. Can you talk a little bit about the impact that the program has?
Sure. So I'll start off from kind of the statewide perspective and then turn it over to my colleagues here. For a relatively, I wouldn't say a small investment, but for a roughly $250,000 investment in the nonprofit organizations hosting VITA sites, the state has been able to see over $20 million in federal and state tax returns returned and earned income tax credits returned to the state. So the return on investment is huge. It's great because it supports individual and household expense needs, financial needs, as well as it supports the state's economy as well, because those funds, when they return to households, those are used to meet household needs, expenses, car repairs, down payments for a new vehicle, utilities, or other immediate day-to-day needs. So it has a great financial impact and benefit both to households and to the states. But I'll definitely look.
That is correct, and that is money that is reinvested right here, you know, in the local different communities, because we do like a little survey for the clients and say, how are you expecting to use your refund? And most of them said to pay bills. So that's the main priority. A lot of people say, oh, they use the money for vacation, for going on trips and doing that, but no, the majority of them, the answer is to pay the bills, because that money, and also some of them save for the rainy days. You know, when the kids need additional clothing for school, they need material, they need different things. So that's the money that is invested right here in our different local communities in Rhode Island.
Yeah, and as a longtime site at the Center for Southeast Asians, I've been able to see a lot of return taxpayers. So they come back year after year, and every year I'm able to see their growth in the financial, you know, like services, meaning they are saving for the first, you know, car to get a better job, get a higher paying job. They are saving towards putting some of that towards a first house, and they come and share that with us and tell us, oh, I got my first house, how does that help me with my tax return? Or I put some money into my retirement account, how does that help them? So that's been able to empower them to know that their refund and them not spending money towards getting a tax return is helping them for their future as well as for their family.
Right, that's a big piece. I want to highlight that again. They're not paying anything for this program. That's incredible.
They are saving. Is the average tax preparation for a simple return is between $200 and $400. So they are saving that kind of money, you know, and investing right there within their families, instead of paying somebody else to prepare that tax return. That's what VITA does, helping families save money.
Yeah, I know exactly how that is, because for a number of years, I'd always gotten my taxes done with my parents. When I was in college, my mom still her tax person still allowed her to do my taxes with her for no additional charge. But when I left college, I was like, oh no, I have to do my own taxes. And I used the VITA site last year and the year prior. And it was a huge help.
I want to share too that I want to reassure that the viewers, as well as those that are coming to us, we follow all the IRS guidelines, and everything that we do is accurate, and we're just like almost like an H&R block, TurboTax. A lot of people do it on their own, and that's fine, but I want to reassure them that sometimes I feel like they are afraid that we might do it wrong, or we don't get them the most of what they're supposed to, but we follow all guidelines, and our tax returns are accurate, and we have rejection rates that we have to look into why they're rejected, but most of our accepted returns, they're all, 100%, and we monitor all that. So I want to reassure people that, we are just as good as, or even better, because we're free.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was my next question, was how can a first-time client of this program be sure that they're getting the best possible, their taxes done by a qualified person?
Like in this program is sponsored by the Internal Revenue Service, and we, the IRS, make sure that the volunteers that sign up to help with this program, they go through training, and they have to be certified every year. Even if they were prior volunteer, when they come this year, they have to take the test again, recertify. Also, at the VITA program, we have some regulations that they need to follow, and one of them is that every single tax return needs to be quality reviewed by somebody else. The tax preparer, the first person that prepared the return, cannot review that return. Have to be another set of eyes to look at that return.
Okay.
Then also at the VITA site, most of the time there is a senior tax preparer, a person with experience, that if a new volunteer has questions, can go to that person. And also we have the VITA hotline in case that they need further assistance, and that assistance is not there at the local site. They can call the 1-800 number directly. There is a line just for volunteers in case that they have questions, and we have the training resources available there on site too.
Okay.
And for in case that there is question that they have to research. But the taxpayer, they can rest assured that they are getting a quality service at the VITA program.
Right, knowing that the individuals who are doing the taxes are getting this extensive training directly from the IRS.
Exactly. The training, and they have to pass with a minimum of 80%.
Okay.
So that is the regulation.
All right. And can you further explain, I know that your role is kind of, you have two roles in this program. Can you further explain your role as a senior tax consultant?
But my first job is to, like some people say, what do you do during this after tax season? So during the tax season, we search for agencies like nonprofit organizations that would like to sponsor, a VITA program, that they would like to partnership with the IRS. Then, if they agree, we explain all the qualifications and the rules of setting up a VITA site. If they agree, we help to establish the VITA site for the next filing season. Then when the time comes for United Way for the grants, but this is good that you start a VITA site now, because when the United Way opens, the cycle to apply for VITA grant, so you already have your foot on the door as a VITA, so you know what is entitled. So that helps, and that's how the program has been growing in Rhode Island. So this is the main thing, to find organizations. So if anybody is watching and they would like their agency to be part of this great program, please contact us, contact either United Way or myself, and we will help to set up a site.
Okay, I know we can definitely run some contact information down the bottom, whether it's an email or a web page. We can run that while we broadcast this show as well, so they can reach out directly to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Kannyka, I know as the program director at the Center for Southeast Asians, you oversee a VITA site that's a part of the Providence Coalition. Can you talk a little bit about your location?
Yes, so I'm at the Center for Southeast Asians. We're located on 270 Elmwood Avenue, right in Providence, south end of Providence. We've been part of the Providence Coalition for quite a long time, and actually this is going to be going into my 4th full year of being the site coordinator at the center. And what we do is, as part of the coalition, we have set hours to accommodate taxpayers who, say for example, they have availability in any time. So I'm actually open on Mondays all day, 9 to 1 or 2 to 6. And then those in the evenings who are available after work. So Thursdays, actually tonight, Thursday night is a VITA tax hours, so 3 to 7, and then I accommodate those who just don't have time during the week to come on the weekend. So we're also open on Saturdays.
That's really important.
For the VITA program. Like many other agencies, we do VITA work, but there's also other work that the agencies do. So at the center, there's several other programs that are going on that are active right now. So we are having free ESL classes at the center, and we actually have that with a partnership with Dorcas International for free ESL program. We just concluded the Affordable Care Act open enrollment with Health Source Rhode Island. And there is now a mandate for Rhode Islanders to have health insurance, or else there's a penalty. So that connected with us with taxes to tell clients that they definitely should be looking into getting health insurance, because Rhode Island, not the federal government, but the Rhode Island state will have a tax penalty for not having insurance, not for this year, not for this past year. So we do that, and then we are also doing victim services. So there's a lot of hats that we wear, but we really focus our energies and really rally the team, find volunteers to help us with the VITA program, which I really strongly believe in, and really happy to be helping a lot of the clients.
And it seems like you guys have so much going on there, so you have a lot of foot traffic, so it's no surprise that you guys are one of the highest, one of the largest sites that people came to in the Providence Coalition, right?
Yes, so last year we did over 450 federal tax returns, and there's a state credit that we also help with, which is called the property tax relief, or the 1040Hs for Rhode Island, and we had over 180 clients do that. So all in all, like over 600, and then the team itself has done over 3,000. I remember the numbers.
Yes, over 3,500 returns.
Yes.
Wow. And can you talk a little bit about the impact that it has on some of your members from what you've seen for the last 4 years?
So I always enjoyed helping clients, and in this role I'm able to help them with their financial services. I feel strongly in enabling a person and their families to become financially independent, and I think that knowing what they go to work for, what they pay in their taxes, what they get in their refunds is important. So I'm able to, and as well as my team, work with them and tell them that we're doing an accurate tax return and explaining what goes into it, what they get out of it, and then giving them basic financial literacy, which is part of a lot of our programs, to enable them to be able to better balance out their books. And for example, if somebody owes, we'll point out the reasons why, because sometimes they think, okay, I'm working, and we'll also tell them some things that they're missing. So for example, we had somebody who didn't realize he was not putting anything in a state refund. He worked outside of the state, so he wasn't paying anything into Connecticut taxes. So he got a nice, okay return for federal, but then Connecticut penalized him because he wasn't taking anything out of tax return. But it was a year later he found out. He worked a whole year in another state, and that's fine. So anybody from another state could come into our site, and if you work in another state, so say you live in Rhode Island, you work in Connecticut, which is what happened in this case, we still could do the tax return because the system is a nationwide based system.
Okay, that reminded me of a question I had. But the individuals have to be present for it.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, for my site, we prefer them being in the site because of the IRS guidelines that we need to see their ID and their social. So that's the other thing I wanted to share, that there are things that a client definitely needs to bring in. So we need to see their ID, their socials. A copy is okay, but we definitely need to see something. And then their dependents. If they have dependents they're claiming, we need to see their social, and then all their income. And we also need their bank information if they want to have accurate direct deposit information. And all that is quality reviewed to make sure that it is accurate.
And all of this information, where can all of this be found?
So the IRS has a website, Meg. I know you know the website a little bit better than me, but they list all VITA sites, I think nationwide.
All the VITA sites, but the best way in Rhode Island is to call the 211. 211. Because the 211 is easier sometimes if you don't have, some of the clients that we see, they don't have access to the internet.
Right.
So call the 211, and based on your location, the 211 is going to direct you to the site that is available, in that area where you are leaving to do your taxes.
And speaking of the different location sites, Larry, can you talk a little bit about some of the sites that you know there will be, whether it's at different labor unions or different community organizations? I know that the Center for Southeast Asians is one. Where are some others? Do you?
Sure. Most of the community action agencies around the state are participating in VITA this year, and some of them have multiple locations. So, again, as Meg mentioned, calling 211 would help you to find the best accessible VITA site and provide you the hours and connect you directly with that site to schedule an appointment. But we have sites in a number of cities and towns around the state, from Woonsocket to Westerly and from Newport to Johnston, Progreso Latino in Central Falls, Blackstone Valley Community Action, Amos House, Federal Hill House, Genesis Center, and Johnny Cake Center of Peacedale, to name a few. But the 211 information or referral line at United Way of Rhode Island is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So call 211.
All right, so calling 211 would be the best way to figure out the closest site by you.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
All right, and now I know that, Kannyka, you had mentioned that your site has some flexible hours. Some are open a little bit later. You have some hours on Saturday. Are most of the sites open, or any of the other sites do you guys know of open early in the morning or later in the evening for folks who may have an 8 to 5 job or who may need assistance outside of regular business hours?
Yes, most of the sites in the city of Providence, they are open evenings and weekends to accommodate the working population.
Okay.
So that is the great. So in the city of Providence, every single site is open either one evening during the week and also weekends. So even Sundays, we have sites that are open Sundays, Saturdays, nights. Most of the sites, they're open evening, they close around 8:30 to 9.
Okay.
So to accommodate the clients.
Can I also just share and then encourage anybody who does want to come in? Most sites serve as a first come, first serve basis. So when it gets busy, it's a lot of people, but we reassure everybody that we will get to them. So there might be a wait time. In the next week or two, it's going to get busier because February and March is our peak months for tax filing. So we just them know to come, and we at my site, for example, we let them know that we have X number of volunteers. It takes them about half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on the type of return, and then but we reassure that we'll get through to them and make it accurate. And but there is sometimes a wait. We don't want them to feel like they come and they're in and out in like 10 minutes.
Right,
That's not always the case.
So folks should plan for there to be some wait time just in case. I mean, it's only like you said, February and March are the busiest time. So it's only these 2 months of the year. It's it's bound to be busy.
And some sites, sometimes they have walk-ins, like she was saying, or they have the appointment. They schedule the appointment. So it depends on the location of the sites.
And if I were to call 211 and I'm told where the site is that's closest to me or best for my, whether it's zip code or where I live, can I go to any site? Or
yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
That's really good to know.
You can go to any of the sites.
Okay.
Also, I want to mention, Erica, is that the earning tax credit.
Yes.
Thank
you.
Yes. Tomorrow is the EITC. We call it also earning tax credit, or EITC is the awareness day.
Okay.
It is calculated that at least 20% of the eligible taxpayer are not aware of the earning tax credit, because we are trying to target new filers and also grandparents that they're taking care of children now, and they have like a small job, but they say, oh, I over 65, I do not qualify. But if they had kids, if they had taken care of grandkids living with them, yes, and they have earned income, they qualify for this credit. And the only way to get this credit is if you file the tax return. So you cannot get the earning tax credit if you do not file. You need to file the tax return, and this is the largest federal anti-poverty program that we have.
Okay.
And every year, there's a lot of money left on the table because people are not filing. We're talking about 20% of the population that are eligible for this credit, and they're not taking advantage of that. So we encourage everybody, tell your friends, tell your family, please, if you worked, go to a VITA site, and they will determine if you qualify for the earned income tax credit, but you need to file the tax return.
Why do you think it is that people aren't using this, or do people not know about it? Or
Because some people, they don't know about it, and also let's say that you work for the year and you only made $5,000 and they didn't take any withholding. I say, well, they didn't take any money out, so I'm not getting anything. Yeah. But yes, even though you have no withholding, you will qualify for the earned income tax credit as long as you have earned income from working or also for self-employed. Okay. So those are the people, brand new, like new person that they have been out of the market for a long time. Now they started a job, and they said that they started late in the year, and they are back in the market, so they might qualify for this credit.
So anyone who can go into a VITA site and figure out if they qualify for it. Anyone at one of the VITA sites would be able to tell them that.
Yes, they can do that, and also if they go to the IRS.gov, to the website, and they search for the EITC, they can search on that, and there is a link that will determine if also they qualify, because there are different qualifications. Depends on how many kids you have, and also you don't have any children. So every case is different, but the possibility is there to get money for the earned income tax credit. And also, I wanted to mention the child tax credit. This is another big credit that since 2018 went up to $2,000 per children under 17. So if they have income, they might qualify for that credit, and $1,400 of that credit is refundable.
Okay.
So that's another help for the working families with children.
All right. And that's a tiered, right? So it depends on the amount of money you make, the number of dependents you have.
Yes, exactly. The child tax credit, the refundable portion is only $1,400. The EITC, it depends on the kids and also the income and your filing status. So all of that has to do with the qualification.
All right. So the best way to figure that out is either to go directly to a VITA site, or you can go online too and try and figure it out yourself.
Exactly.
Just searching EITC.
EITC.
Right? Okay. And so I just want to recap before we close up the show, because I know we don't have much time left. So if I were a first-time client, the first thing I should do is call 211. Right, and figure out where the closest site is. On 211, am I able to figure out if I will go by appointment or the hours of that location, or will they just give me the location and I can call them and ask?
The 211 call specialist will tell you what the hours are for the site that you're looking to connect with. You can also go to our website, liveunitedri.org, and we have on our website all of the VITA sites with their hours, a contact person, and that's another way to get the information as well.
All right. You guys make it so easy, right? All right. Well, once again, this is a free site. Thank you, all three of you, so much for being here, for doing the work that you do around this program. I personally appreciate it very much, and I'm excited that we can share it with everybody else and all of our viewers. So thank you for being here.
Thank you
so much for having us.
All right, for all of you watching at home, you're watching Labor Vision. If you've missed any of this site, be sure to check out our new website. It's www.laborvisionri.org, and you'll be able to check out this video as well as any other videos that you've missed to get all of this valuable information. So again, thank you all for watching. Have a great night. We hope to see you back here next week.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Labor Vision. We appreciate your input and encourage your comments. Labor Vision can be seen on this channel 3 times each week: Tuesday at 7 p.m., Thursday at 8 p.m., and Saturday at 5 p.m.